like to introduce you to Zoë Dillon. This is her work. Zoe's, and some of you I know, of course, know you and things like that, but still, this is Zoe's work in the Signal Arts Centre. And it's a meaningful kind of introduction because Zoe's first open submission was to the Signal Arts Centre.
Yeah.
And we have a wonderful circle of moment where it comes back to you having a solo show here.
Yeah.
And there's something really good and neat and meaningful in that. If you've looked at the work here, I should introduce myself. My name's Gowan Dunn. I'm a painter as well. I kind of met you at the beginning processes of your painting, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
And as a painter, I have to tell you, the speed and the hunger with which Zoe has developed is extraordinary. You know, I spent years trying to figure out particular kind of things and not always successfully. And then you see what Zoe has done, and she has done it so quickly. To think about that each colour, each tone in flesh is worked out by a mixture of colours in order to kind of make it illuminate and play with the colour beside it. To understand the kind of the relationship of how each colour makes you look into the work, around the work, to feel the gloss, to feel the shade, to feel the matte of the work is extraordinary. And then on top of that, you actually have to have an idea or a theme of what you're working with. And it's interesting that in the RHA where you were practicing, they asked you, you know, what are you doing? What is this about? How are you forcing it? So not only do you mechanically have to paint, but you have to have reason to paint. And that is not easy. And it catches you out a lot because painting is a mechanical process. And while you're doing it, you're rarely going, yes, this is what that philosopher said. That's not how you think about it. But there is a moment of contemplation, of thinking afterwards. And you begin to realize there's a rightness and a wrongness in what you do and how you paint, that you begin to apply the work. And it is so open to understanding and interpretation that it's huge. And so I would like to point out that Zoe's work is about, Skinfluenced is the name, but it's about kind of social media, it's about cosmetics, it's about youth. What do you explain there for a moment?
Yeah, and it's also about the targeted marketing of the beauty products to young girls at a ever younger age. And yeah, I suppose it's how the girls themselves have to kind of market the products too, and you know how in a way maybe they're a little exploited, but as we discussed earlier, there's also a fun side to, you know, to getting ready and the beauty routines, and I suppose we all do it.
Yeah, well, you said it's like there's an attraction to it,
yeah.
And it's not as judgmental.
No, it's not. No, and also historically, I suppose we've always, you know, women and men have always been involved in, you know, the beautification of themselves and their, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look back to the earliest kind of paints that exist, they're actually completely interchangeable between using them on the body and using them for creating images on walls or on wood or whatever like that. So the relationship starts that they're twins of a kind, that they didn't see a separation between those things. Mm-hmm. And it's only as kind of language finds variation and separation that you have that. So there is an absolute parallel between painting, how we paint ourselves or make ourselves, and the objects involved in doing that. And we were also saying that there's also a fascination in watching people make things. I don't know if anybody remembers the Hand series, which was an amazing series that RTE did from the 60s to the 80s about making things like schlitters or a coracle or things like that. And there is something about watching somebody on screen doing something that is very, very absorbing. My own one is watching people do pottery. But anyway, but we all have one that we watch, and there's something in this that kids are watching these things, and of course they want to emulate it, and then they do it. And there's kind of, in that small screen, there's this kind of cropping that goes on. And it's funny that cropping in painting is really influenced by the time the cameras come out with painters like Degas, who start to crop the actual images they're working from. So technology has always had, again, that relationship with how we view the image making that we do like this. And so that's why you have this kind of thing that you're not allowed at any point the full viewing of the person. Am I right?
That's right, yeah.
And in fact, in most of them, these ones down here, this range of this line of them, there's no interaction with the person. You're not actually engaging with them. You're viewing them, you're like a voyeur, until you reach the eyes at the end, where some of them are actually looking down at you. And this one here. So you are being observed the whole time that you're observing. You just don't realize it. Or you turn and then you realize it in it. So it's very, very well curated show. It's very much you're brought in through it. It's not easy to do, to curate show. The show makes it effortless, but that's because of the way it's hung. And when you go through these pieces, then you come to the drawing. And the drawing has a tension with the painting. There's a different way that Zoe approaches the drawing. And in fact, most of the viewers are turned back from you, like a Hammershoy painting. And they're away from you, apart from one drawing at the end, when you're actually allowed, the viewer is allowed to see the person more or less. And it creates an attention. And Zoe has brought the pink, what do you call it, pinkification?
Yeah.
What
a friend of mine for that name. But yeah, I suppose that was really the thing I really noticed with all of the products, and obviously from the TikTok reels and everything, was how it's a little sinister, because all of the products are bright pinks or candy coloured, and it's that whole allure then for younger kids. So hence the pinkification of the drawings, actually, because they relate then to, I suppose it brings the skin to the drawings of the hair and the routine.
It's really good the way it does that. It does, because you could be at odds with the drawings in it, but it brings you into it. And the making is different, and it creates a tension between the two. Because if you were to ask somebody in painting and drawing, I'm not great at drawing, but but painting is my thing. So when you see somebody working out between painting and drawing, and the tensions between which one do they focus in, because each one is hungry for your time and when you're making them. And so, but you've managed to actually keep it in by using colour with it. Mm-hmm. But we were talking earlier about the kind of the fascination that beauty and cosmetics have. And like, if we look back in history, one of the earliest kind of beauty products that I know of was in a program on glass, and it was an Egyptian little glass piece of a fish, and it looks like something that was produced a few years ago. And inside is coal for the eyes, and they would put it on, and it was thought so valuable that they would put it in this hand-blown glass fish, and the fish is associated with cosmetics in Egypt. They would even beat fish scales to create pearlescent lipsticks in it. And so you have this historical connection with beauty. And we were talking earlier, and Zoe's actually done some of the bog bodies in the Natural History Museum.
Yeah.
The National Museum.
National Museum, yeah.
And we were saying that it's extraordinary. You go in and you're standing over a pretty brutally murdered individual. And it's like, oh gosh, yes. And then somebody says, oh, he had hair gel from France in his hair. You're like, oh, that's amazing. That makes it all okay. But immediately, even that moment changes your view entirely. But the fact that somebody on the night before, and they knew they were going to die, would put hair gel, that beauty was important to them, is that these things are. And my own mother told me before, and this is my mother, by the way, I still can't drive. But anyway, said that when women came out of the camps in after World War II, they came out of the concentration camps, they had been so reduced because of their clothing that they were just allowed, and they weren't allowed to do anything with their hair. Now, one of the first things they looked for was cloth and hair products in order to be able to bring them back to who they were. So beauty is about identity as well. Mm-hmm. And there is something in these paintings that catches the balance between understanding that there is identity in there, but there is a peril in there as well, and there is exploitation, but there is also focus and attention and learning and making. And I think you did that really well, Zoe. I think you did it really well.
Thank you. So thank you, Gowan. I'm so grateful to you for coming out. And thanks to everyone for coming. Some of you have travelled quite a distance, and I'm really overwhelmed actually by the sport. And I suppose there's the sport of the art friends, and also, you know, all of you have been friends through different areas of my life. So I'm really very grateful to all of you. And particularly to Ian and the three kids who have been the hugest support of all, and I'm very, very grateful because I couldn't do it without you, and I certainly couldn't come up with the names without the brain rot help. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.